United States. American fighters have one unfair advantage nobody talks about: the NCAA wrestling system. From age 5, these kids are learning folk-style wrestling, which is designed to hold people down and break their will. It's not about flashy throws, it's about control. When you watch guys like Bo Nickel, you're seeing decades of that system. Here's the thing: American wrestlers refuse to accept bottom position. In folk style, giving up your back is death, so they're drilled to scramble, explode, and get back up no matter what. That's why when you take down an American wrestler, they pop right back up like nothing happened. The technique that translates perfectly, the blast double leg, they shoot from miles away, drive through you like a linebacker, and suddenly you're on your back wondering what happened. But the modern American fighter isn't just a wrestler anymore. Guys like Colby Covington use wrestling to set up boxing. The threat of the takedown makes you hesitate, and that's when the overhand right lands. It's wrestle boxing, and it's the current meta. The hidden advantage is mental. These guys have been grinding since childhood, cutting weight, suffering through brutal practice rooms. By the time they hit the UFC, nothing phases them. India. Traditional Indian wrestlers train in red mud pits called akhadas. They swing 40-pound stone clubs to build grip strength that's borderline superhuman. Kushti wrestling is the base. Heavy, grinding, top control. The Fogat family brought this tradition to the world stage, inspiring a new generation. Ritu Phogat carries that legacy, dragging opponents into deep water with relentless takedowns. She's proving the traditional Indian wrestling base is legit. Anshul Jubli represents the modern evolution, a new breed of Indian fighter who's blending that grappling foundation with striking. He's putting the pieces together, showing what's possible when you combine Indian toughness with modern MMA training. The hidden advantage is durability. Those Hindu push-ups, the neck bridges, the club swinging from the old school. That builds a body that's dense and hard to hurt. The challenge is speed. Traditional mud wrestling is slow, methodical. The cage requires explosiveness. Indian fighters are adapting, speeding up their shots. But striking defense is still the biggest hole. The culture is monastic. Celibacy, vegetarian diets, devotion to Hanuman, the god of strength. It's a spiritual approach to fighting that creates unbreakable mental toughness. When an Indian fighter cracks the top 10 in the UFC, the floodgates will open. With 1.4 billion people and a wrestling tradition thousands years old, it's only a matter of time. Brazil. Brazilian fighters come from two worlds. Rio gave us Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, the chess match on the ground. Curitiba gave us shoot box, which is just violence set to music. Charles Oliveira is the perfect blend. He walks forward like he wants to brawl, chin up, hands low. Reckless, right? Wrong. He's comfortable everywhere. Drop him. He pulls guard and suddenly you're in his world, getting strangled. The Brazilian style is built on one principle: find the finish. They're not grinding out decisions. They're hunting submissions and knockouts. Watch how they use the clinch. It's not the patient, technical Thai clinch. It's frantic knees to the body and head, trying to crack ribs and break will. Then there's the backpack system. Demi and Maya perfected this. Get the back, lock in the body triangle, sink the rear naked choke. Simple, devastating, nearly unstoppable. The new wave is different though. Alex Pereira represents modern Brazil. He's a pure kickboxer who learned just enough grappling to survive. His game is the calf kick and the left hook. That's it. Two weapons that put people to sleep. The culture rewards aggression. Brazilian crowds want blood. That shapes how these fighters operate. Backing up is shameful. Moving forward is honorable, even if it means eating shots to land your own. Russia and Dagestan. You know that feeling when someone's on top of you and you can't breathe? That's the Dagestani style. These guys don't just wrestle you down, they drown you. Khabib Nurmagomedov went 29-0 doing one thing: making elite fighters look helpless. Here's what most people miss. It's not just wrestling. It's a system built in the mountains at 6,000 feet where the air is thin and training is brutal. They're doing sambo, judo, and freestyle wrestling all mixed together, and their lungs are getting superhuman from that altitude. When they fight at sea level, it's like they have a third lung. The signature move? The Dagestani handcuff. They trap your wrist behind your back while sitting on you. Now you can't post up to stand, and you can't defend your face. Turn away, they take your back. Turn in, you eat elbows. It's a checkmate position. Islam Makhachev represents the evolution. He's got all of Khabib's pressure, but now he's adding slick kickboxing. He'll trip you from the clinch using judo throws, then decide if he wants to submit you or knock you out. The philosophy is simple: make every second miserable until you break. Mexico. Mexican fighters don't retreat. It's cultural. It's in their DNA. They walk forward, eat your best shot, smile, and break your ribs with a liver hook. Brandon Moreno embodies this. He's not a zombie brawler though. He's evolved. He uses lateral movement, pops a stiff jab, creates angles, but when it's time to exchange, He's right there in the pocket trading leather. The signature weapon, the left hook to the liver. Mexican fighters are drilled on this from childhood. Dip the shoulder, load the weight, rip it into the floating ribs at a 45-degree angle. It's a body shot that bypasses toughness and just shuts you down. Here's the secret advantage: altitude training. Gyms in Mexico City are at 7,000 feet. Their red blood cell count is naturally boosted. When they fight at sea level, they have cardio for days. You think you've broken them in round 2, and they're still coming in round 5. The downside, that squared stance makes them easy to take down. But even on their back, they're scrambling, using the cage to stand up, refusing to play the ground game. The culture rewards heart over technique. Fans don't care if you lose. They care if you fought like a warrior. That pressure creates fighters who would rather die than back down. Ireland. Irish fighters fight like fencers, wide-bladed stance. Everything is about distance. Conor McGregor built the blueprint. Stand sideways, stay just out of range, wait for you to commit, then counter with the straight left hand. It's a sniper shot, one and done. Here's what makes it work. The stance minimizes the target. You're looking at shoulders and a skinny profile. Hard to hit, and when you throw, Irish fighters pull their head back, let your punch miss by an inch, then fire their rear hand down the pipe. It's the pull counter, and it's devastatingly clean. Ian Machado Gary is the modern version. Same stance, same patience, but he's added wrestling defense. The old criticism was that Irish fighters got exposed by grapplers. Wide stance, hard to sprawl. Gary fixed that. Now he'll take you down just to stand back up and prove a point. The mental game is huge too. Irish fighters talk. They get in your head before the fight even starts. The crowd chants, the pressure builds, and by the time the cage door closes, you're already rattled. The hidden advantage? Flow state. Irish fighters train to stay loose, never tense. Tension kills speed. Loose fighters snap punches like whips. That's why McGregor's left hand looked so fast. No wasted motion, just snap. Australia and New Zealand. City kickboxing in Auckland created something special, a system based on confusion. Alexander Volkanovski is the king of this. Watch him fight and count the feints. Shoulder twitches, hip fakes, stance switches. He's feeding you false information constantly. You think he's kicking, he punches. You think he's punching, he kicks. By round 3, your brain is fried. Here's the trick. Feints overload your nervous system. You start freezing, hesitating, and that's when the real attack lands. The stance switch is deadly. Volk will mid-combo go from orthodox to southpaw, changing the angle while the punches are already flying. You can't track it, and if you take him down, good luck. That rugby background means he knows how to drive, how to use the cage to wall walk back up. He doesn't play guard. He refuses the bottom position entirely. Israel Adesanya brought a different flavor, pure striking, pure distance management. He's 6 feet 4 inches fighting at middleweight, using his length to poke you from ranges where you can't touch him. The hidden advantage is the lab environment. Being isolated in New Zealand, they developed their own meta without outside pollution. They created techniques specifically to beat wrestlers and pressure fighters. The calf kick revolution? That came from city kickboxing. Now everyone throws it. Japan. Japanese fighters will let their arm break before they tap. It's Bushido, the warrior code. Yuki Nakai fought an entire tournament blind in one eye and never quit. That spirit defines the style. Shudo is the base, a hybrid of catch wrestling and judo that prioritizes submissions from anywhere. They don't need mount, they'll armbar you from standing. The Imanari roll is the ultimate example. You're standing, throwing punches, and suddenly the Japanese fighter dives at your legs, rolling into a heel hook. It's high risk, but when it works, you're done. Kyoji Horiguchi represents the modern evolution. Karate blitz striking. He bounces on his toes, then explodes forward with a straight right, covering distance in a blink. If that doesn't work, he shoots a double leg instantly. The style is built on unpredictability and speed. Here's the weakness. Japanese fighters train in rings, not cages. So when they hit the UFC, the wall wrestling game is foreign. They're used to cornering opponents with ropes, not defending against being pinned to a fence. But the leg lock game, that's still uniquely Japanese. Western fighters avoid legs. Japanese fighters hunt them. United Kingdom. UK fighters didn't have wrestling programs, so they invented a cheat code. The wall walk. Leon Edwards perfected it. Get taken down, scoot your hips to the cage, post your hands, walk your feet up like a ladder, and you're back standing in 3 seconds. It's like the takedown never happened. The second weapon is the clinch elbow. UK fighters studied Muay Thai, but adapted it for MMA. When they break the clinch, they slash an elbow on exit. That parting shot cuts faces, discourages grappling, and wins rounds. Leon's head kick knockout of Kamaru Usman was a trap years in the making. He showed it in training, knew Usman would see the footage, and still landed it clean. That's high-level strategy. Tom Aspinall is the new breed, a heavyweight who moves like a welterweight. His hand speed is faster than guys 2 weight classes below him. He's proving UK fighters aren't just boxers anymore. They're athletic freaks who can grapple when needed. The culture is working class, gritty, no nonsense. These aren't rich kids doing MMA for fun. It's cage warriors, fighting for a contract, feeding families. That creates tough, durable fighters who don't break under pressure. Cameroon and Nigeria. Francis Ngannou's punching power broke records. They measured it on the Power Cube machine, and he set the all-time mark, equivalent to getting hit by a speeding car. When he hits you, you don't just get knocked out, you get sent to another dimension. Here's the thing about West African fighters. Posterior chain dominance. The glutes, hamstrings, lower back, that's where power comes from, and these guys have it naturally. Ngannou grew up working in sand mines. That manual labor built a base of functional strength that no gym can replicate. Kamaru Usman brought the Nigerian nightmare style, wrestling mixed with that African physicality. He'd pin you to the cage, stomp your feet, drain your gas tank, then crack you with a jab that felt like a right hand. The switch stance added another layer. You never knew which side the power was coming from. The mental edge is real too. The immigrant mentality. When you've crossed an ocean, survived poverty, fought just to get here, a cage fight isn't scary. It's an opportunity. That psychological advantage breaks opponents who grew up comfortable. Poland. Jan Blachowicz talks about legendary Polish power, and it's real. His punches don't snap. They thud. Heavy, bone-deep impacts that rattle your skeleton. He dominated Israel Adesanya with strikes that didn't even look that fast. That's bone density and perfect weight transfer. Polish fighters come from a strongman culture. Mariusz Pudzianowski, 5-time world's strongest man, fought in MMA and brought the eyes of a nation. He wasn't technical, but he could throw people across the ring with raw strength. Mateusz Gamrot represents the modern technical wave. His wrestling rivals the Dagestanis. Constant scrambles, Peterson rolls, chain wrestling that never stops. He's proving Poland isn't just about power anymore. It's about relentless pace and elite grappling. The checking kicks game is underrated. Blachowicz is a master. He'll check your kick so hard it can end fights. His defensive shin work has shut down countless kickers. The hidden advantage is toughness. KSW, Poland's major promotion, attracted a hooligan subculture into gyms. These guys aren't soft. They're training in the mountains, doing brutal conditioning, building mental resilience through suffering. Blachowicz touches a rope from a hanged man before fights for luck. That's the mindset. Dark, stoic, unshakable. China. Chinese fighters stand sideways and fire side kicks like pistons. It's Sanda, Chinese kickboxing, and it's built different. Zhang Weili is the queen. She'll sidekick your knee to keep distance, catch your leg if you kick, and sweep you instantly. It's a seamless system of kick, catch, throw. Here's what makes Sanda unique. The throws are explosive. It's not slow judo trips. It's fast, violent takedowns that score points and demoralize opponents. Zhang has added American wrestling defense to her game. Now she's a complete hybrid. Sanda striking, elite takedown defense, and Muay Thai clinch knees. She's become a nightmare matchup for everyone. Song Yadong brings heavy hands. He's got knockout power that shouldn't exist at bantamweight. He blitzes forward with straight punches and bunches, overwhelming you with volume and aggression. The weakness was always the ground game. Sanda doesn't teach submissions. Early Chinese fighters got submitted constantly, but the new generation trains at American gyms now, plugging that hole. The population scale matters too. China has 1.4 billion people. The talent pool is massive. As MMA grows there, the pipeline will produce monsters.